While Biden's deputies and spokespersons continue to soft sell the crisis at the border, the president himself finally seemed to acknowledge the issue today when confronted by a reporter. Take a look.
Mr. President, what's your reaction to the images coming from the southern border?
Get it under control.
Get it under control, or you have it under control?
We will get it under control.
Okay, we'll get it under control. Biden's words come as a little comfort considering the crisis has been going on since the beginning of his days in office. Joining me now is former Department of Homeland Security Oversight Counsel and Senior Advisor for Government Relations at the Heritage Foundation, Mike Howell. Mike, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So Secretary Mayorkas, head of DHS, was on the ground in Del Rio yesterday. Do you think that this visit could actually turn into some real action, or is this just to give the appearance of action so that we can get distracted with other things?
Right, that's exactly it. It's disaster tourism. He's just going there for a photo op. You got to judge someone by their actions, not their words and their photo ops. There are tons of policies that this administration turned off the day they took office. They haven't changed the thing to turn something back on to actually get this under control. In fact, we see their biggest concern right now is that, Border Patrol on horses are down there. They want to actually take away Border Patrol officers that are guarding the border. For a second, we saw one, minor step towards border security and people actually being returned at the border. And now Democrats are up in arms. The White House is calling for an investigation. They got it all backwards. And Mayorkas was on the Hill testifying today. Absolute disaster. Didn't break any news or announce any new policies. It's just going to stay as bad as it is now. We're sitting at the new normal.
Now, you were a senior official in DHS. One thing that keeps coming up for those of us who are trying to follow this issue closely is why can't we know the percentage of people who are released into the U.S. interior versus how many are actually turned back? I mean, do they have that data pretty readily available? Is there a way we can get access to that data? It doesn't seem like certainly most journalists are particularly interested in it, but we are.
Yeah, that certainly is data the Department and Customs and Border Protection keeps. Senator Johnson was asking Secretary Mayorkas about this today. Mayorkas would not give him a straight answer. In fact, he said he didn't have the data available, yet said Johnson was wrong in his estimation. So how can you know or not know the data, but know the senator's wrong? Johnson did press him. Mayorkas promised to give Capitol Hill this information, which they've been withholding, but they have it. And the reason they're withholding it, I assume, is because the numbers are really bad. People are being released into the interior in absolute mass.
DHS is reportedly putting migrants on planes and sending them to Port-au-Prince. Do you think that this, in Haiti, do you think this will continue on at levels that will deter more individuals of Haitian origin or from anywhere for that matter from coming in? Or, the numbers here seems to really matter. If you got a 50-50 shot of getting into the U.S., a lot of people will take those odds.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And once you get in, there's no chance of you getting really removed. I was, happy to see that some flights to Haiti resumed. And believe it or not, when word got out that some people were being returned and that law enforcement was actually sent to the border to stop, or at least appear to stop some people, some Haitians decided to turn around and walk back to Mexico, where they've been, for years since they, left Haiti. So it's funny, deportation and removal and enforcement works. But this administration, I don't think is going to carry it through, because the activist base and the radical White House staff that really is pulling the strings here, they are not about it at whatsoever. They don't want anyone to get sent back. It's too tough for them.
You've argued that the border crisis is actually purposeful. Can you walk us through that argument? Explain how, what you mean.
Right. So the Biden administration, for about the last couple of years of the Trump administration, was developing a complete playbook of how to undo every little policy, whether it be an executive order, a DHS regulation, and everything. They walked through it all, had it all set to go on day one. There's hundreds of briefings from the Trump DHS team and career officials to the Biden team, where they explained exactly what would happen if these policies were undone. They were warned in absolutely explicit terms, and they did it anyways. And so it's absolutely purposeful. We know now, after 200,000 border crossers last month, it's basically been at that record level for the last 6 or 7 months, which is 4 times basically the average of the year before. at all-time highs across the board. That the policies that the Biden administration canceled, they're resulting in this crisis. It's not rocket science to figure out what exactly changed. It's Biden and his administration undoing the policies that changed. They knew this was coming and they did it anyways.